week from Thursday the 14th of November. And this starts with heavy lat pull downs. Now, I used to start with bent over rows before, but I feel like getting to bent over rows as my third exercise now for back is actually helping me along, because you can get a real stretch and squeeze, and you can really warm up properly with your pull downs and take your time and slowly add weight. Whereas bent over rows, like, you know, you're kind of bent over straight away, so like your lower back might get a pump and things. So yeah, I like to start with lat pull downs and close grip ones now, but this was 3.5 plates either side, up from 3 plates last week, and I fucking nailed these, if I do say so myself. This is a really good set. I think I get 13 here, but as I said before in previous videos with back, you've really got to make sure that you sort of overstretch your lats, let your shoulders like sort of extend, and you push the middle part of your back backwards and let your shoulders go forwards to stretch out the lats, and that's when I get the best engagement. So yeah, let's check out these 13 here and watch. I always stretch all the way up. 3, 8, so I'm struggling now. 9th, let it stretch. 10, let it hang up there for a rep, stretch it. 11, 12, you can see I'm right at the edge of failure here. Even that 13th was, you know, not really a full rep. So yeah, that was a good sort of like 10 constant reps, I'd probably say, and then some really good negatives. And I think I actually do a second set where I go back down to last week's top set, so 3 plates. And to be honest, I actually think I could have not done this set, because my lats were absolutely, my back was so sore from this session. Like you'll see later on, we've got some heavy bent over rows, like just everything was heavy, like all new PBs, certainly for recent times anyway, since like starting this bulk up essentially. And yeah, so this was the working set weight from last week that I'm now dropping down to for my second set. And like I said, I get 11, but I think it's because I pretty much emptied the tank on that first set. And as I started to sort of allude to there, like I probably could have not done this set, and I could have moved straight to close grip pull downs. And that way it'd be a bit more towards the whole Mike Mensa style, the Dorian Yates style thing. You know, if you can put everything into that one set, why do you need another one? That was pretty much, you know, balls to the wall effort, that first set. But this was a good one anyway. But like I said, I just didn't push those negatives too much, maybe 1 or 2 on the end of this one, and then move on to close grip pull downs. But it was a good set nonetheless. Getting close to failure there. Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah, as you can see, wasn't even close with that, considering the last set was 310, 3.5 plates. But yeah, now we move over to close grip pull downs. This is actually a real favourite. I used to do this on just like a normal cable machine, like a cable lat pull down, which I do kind of prefer in a way, but this hoist machine is really nice. It moves really well, and you can feel your back. But I just, given the choice, like I said, I'd rather just have a lengthy close grip lat pull down on a cable with a stack. But unfortunately, this King's, I'm too tall for them, so I can't stretch all the way up. So I'm having to use this hoist machine. But like I said, it's decent, so I'm not going to complain too much. So starting here, I think I get 11 decent ones here, and again I've gone back up to 3.5 plates for this. I did have a decent rest in between, so I mean we're talking probably like 5 minutes, like, you know, not chilling, but just like pacing around, like listening to music, like psyching myself up again, because you know when you're trying to put everything into your 1 or maybe maximum 2 sets, you've got to be ready for it. You can't just be walking around. Like, it's fine if you're going to be doing like 3-4 sets per exercise, not taking them to failure. Like, you can train that way, like by all means. But the way I train, like, you've got to have the time in between sets. And to be honest, that's why I feel that I feel like it builds more tissue that way, because again, you're not knackering yourself out, you're not overtraining, and it's the intensity that matters. Like, would you rather do 3 sets of 12 reps on the same weight just to get like close to failure and sort of stop? Or would you rather do one balls to the wall set where you push it, like you're constantly trying to push the weight more or like pull the weight more? I don't know, it's the latter for me. And you get it done quicker and you can just really intensify the sets, like think about things that are going to like annoy you, like really get in your own head. Like there's a psychological side to training that I don't think a lot of people understand. Like a lot of people just look at bodybuilding and they're like, oh, it's just some guys lifting heavy weights, and posing in the mirror. And don't get me wrong, it is a lot about that. But like I said, the psychological edge, and that's why you see it with people that want to compete and people that have got really good physiques or really strong physiques. There's a mental aspect to this, just like there is everything in life. And if you can be hyper aware of your, not mental state, but what's the word I'm looking for here? Mentality. That's what I'm looking for. Mentality. So it's the mentality that you have in the gym as you build up to the gym, maybe on the car ride to the gym, like everything, like the meals you have in the morning, like you're thinking about what you're doing later on that day. You're going through in your head the exercises you're going to use, the weights you used last week, and what you're going to do this week. Like maybe that doesn't mean, oh, I put an extra plate on or anything like that, but it might mean I do an extra rep or I do an extra negative this week. And it's that progress every single week, that constant goal setting that gets you to sets actually much like this. So I haven't done 165 kilos bent over rows for a long time. And that's not because I couldn't or I didn't want to, but it was more because I hadn't taken a step back from bodybuilding, but I didn't have a goal and I didn't really have a focus. So I was just kind of maintaining, like eating to maintain my physique and not really to grow. And it left me in a sort of limbo point. So I did that for a number of years recently. And now, since I've been sort of giving competing a go again, well, or at least wanting to compete again, been upping my calories, like eating loads of food, like really focusing on bodybuilding, like eating good food, like everything that comes under that umbrella, like training really hard, like, and mentality's a big part of that. And maybe it is the goal of competing or something like that, I don't know, but to have that superior focus and the psychological side of it, to constantly, like push yourself to failure and then beyond, oftentimes on your own. Like, you really have to have a strong mind for that sort of stuff. And yeah, like I said, that's why we've ended up here. Like, I'm just enjoying training again, like loving training. And this is 165 kilos on a bent over rows. And I think I knock out 12 constant reps. And last week, this was 160 kilos. So I'm setting PBs every week now. And all I'm doing is upping my food and just change my mentality, training harder. And the weight's absolutely flying up. So let's watch this one. I mean, I think that's pretty decent control. Like, I'm not fucking moving all the way around the place. Like real control on the eccentric. 12 reps at 165 kilos. I mean, as you'll see, I make the mistake of standing up with it in a minute after I've done the 12, and I'm like, oh, just get a couple of breaths before I die, and then realised I'm completely out of path, and the 13th rep was just fucking awful. It felt like I was lifting a car up with a fat bird in it. Shout out to you feminists. But yeah, as you can see, just had a little minute to myself. And this is kind of the mentality bit as well here. It's like you just have a little minute, control your breathing, deep long breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Like, try and regulate that as well. Like, don't let yourself just be huffing and puffing at the end of every set. You control every aspect of your training. And then yeah, so drop down set now is 130 kilos, which was probably what I was doing my working sets with not too long ago. Probably literally as close as a couple of months ago. I'm sure if I look through the videos, that's probably the case. I certainly wasn't above 140. But, and yeah, this was, and again, similar to the lat pull downs earlier, I didn't go mad on this set of 130 kilos, but and like didn't push it right to failure because I'd already done that on 165 kilos, and this is more of like a very very steady controlled set for me. Feel it a bit more with like the elbows coming back, like squeezing your shoulder blades, just feeling it a bit more. Like the first one's like a compound lift for me, but as you can see, a lot sort of like I certainly feel like I get my elbows back further, and the whole movement is just generally a lot more controlled. But like I said, 12 reps near failure for this one because I've already done the work and I've got a few other back exercises that I want to hit, and therefore different angles. And if I go balls to the wall too early, I'm not going to have anything left to make those sets worthwhile on the end. And that's an important thing to factor, I think. So there's a lot to think about with bodybuilding. Like, yeah, for some people it'll just be like lifting weights and stuff, but for me and the real enthusiasts and the people that want to better themselves and like lift great things every week, then you know take stock of your mindset. Watch motivational videos or listen to motivational speeches beforehand. Like, visualize your training, like what you're going to do. I promise you, absolutely promise you, you'll get more out of bodybuilding and way more progress much faster. And that's actually a decent shot for just to kind of relax spread. And then I think I pull it right the way forward in a sec. We'll see the difference. Oh, there we go. Some decent meat on there. I'm happy with that. That lat pulled out. That lat spread's a good shot for me. I still feel like my waist looks wide here. The arms are looking better. I still need more tricep, I think. But yeah, waist is like super wide here. But again, off season, I've got kind of mild abs there. I can deal with that. Side tricep. Into a side chest. Still striations on the chest, which is good. And then I think because the shadowing here, you can't really see too much detail on the rear double. Then this moves nicely into lat spread, which I think looks pretty good. Obviously, like back pump anyway, but I think there's still decent thickness through the middle of the back there and good width fly off. As far as competing wise, I could probably ease up on my back training. I just fucking love it, so I'm just not going to it. Who doesn't want a bigger back? And even on stage, if your back's enormous, how are they going to mark you down for it? Obviously, you've got to keep things balanced, so you've got to have your hamstrings and everything looking good, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, all in all, good back day. I think we've got quads coming up next, and I hit another PB, so stay tuned for that. Peace.